Okay, everybody, how's it? We have just gone live. You are watching the Purposeful Entrepreneur Business live stream with myself, Lucille Devine. So, this is a space where I interview purposeful entrepreneurs as well as business people who are really living their true life purpose with tons of passion. And the reason for these particular live streams is because at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was to tap into their mindset, what their success formulas are, and to showcase them to you in the hopes that you can take some of this knowledge and insight and actually apply it in your own business and in your own kind of growth when it comes to business as well. So if you are joining the show, this is an interactive show, and this is exactly what I'd like you to do. First of all, be part of the show. And you can do that by commenting down below in the comment section. You're more than welcome to say hi. We'd love to acknowledge you because the show is for you. Again, you can actually ask questions, anything around today's subject matter. And not only that, if you feel that you can support, if somebody's asked a question and you feel you have an answer, go ahead. Don't be shy. Go and support there in the comment section as well. The other thing is you can connect. If there's anyone that is on the live stream as well as inside the actual comment section and you feel you resonate with them, then go and connect with them. That's the way we can support one another and to grow our businesses as well. So today we've got quite an interesting topic, and Steph's been on the show before, and it's such a pleasure to have her back because Steph is a forward thinker. She's fresh, she's talented, she knows what she wants from life, and she's setting out to go and get it. So today she wants to share with us on how to use your skill set or your talents and use them to the max. And not only that, it's a way for her to also share her story and her insight on how she discovered her own hidden talents as well as her skill set, how she actually developed that. So without any further ado, let's welcome Steph. How's it, Steph? How are you doing today?
I am absolutely wonderful, Lucille. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I've really enjoyed just participating in this and having some really insightful conversation with you. So thank you very much for having me back. It's a very exciting experience.
It's a pleasure. Look, I must admit, especially when we talk about your particular industry, which Steph will unpack right now for those of you who haven't met Steph before. But what I do think is that there's not enough people talking about your particular industry. And that's why it's so useful to have this sort of information because it helps others to develop that quickly from your own experience. So I'm excited. So you're ready. Let's start.
All right. So just to give you a little bit of insight into who I am, I currently work at Fed Group, which is a financial investments company. They're a financial services provider, and I do gamification for them, as well as customer journeys and some event planning and coordination. It all kind of links back to staff engagement and kind of driving behavior from an employee perspective, which is really great. Now, I get the question a lot: how does gamification kind of fit into all of this? And it's quite interesting when you think about games. Games is purposefully designed for the end user to use and enjoy. If they don't enjoy their experience, they're not going to go and play the game again. And so everything about games and gamification and game design and being playful is about engaging with the person who you're trying to encourage to participate in an activity, which is really cool. And so my skills have kind of developed from an artist when I was back in high school to theater, into music, into games, and now into people. And so kind of crafting everything I've learned and trying to find a way to translate the best way in which they can receive what we have to offer. It's very exciting stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that is exciting. And I can actually see the correlation between the two because, theatre is very much about audience and what the audience wants and the audience response to what you are actually showcasing on the stage. So that bleeds into your gamification. And then not only that, it's the skills of having that artistry as well. Because as you mentioned right in the beginning, if you don't have that and if that's not set up, most people like the packaging part of it. I mean, let's face it, if it's not appealing and it's almost like a Tetris game, it becomes monotonous and people don't really want to navigate back to that. And it has to be rewarding as well. So it's quite interesting how your background and your talents actually added to the skill. So talk a little bit about your skill set, because I know that's very specific in gamification and building virtual games. How did that play a part there, Steph?
Well, to be honest, everything that I've kind of gone through my life, I've actually been able to draw from the experiences, the abilities, the skills, and translate that into what we're kind of doing now. There's so much correlation between all of these different abilities in games. So art is one of those things that make things pretty. It allows people to see something visually that is appealing to them. And if you apply that in games, you create an environment that is just beautiful to take in, that is conceptually alluring, and that creates visual stimulus for people to really just immerse themselves into. From a music perspective, music creates feeling and emotion. And so understanding what kind of musical qualities impact people in a certain way allows you to craft an authentic environment that complements those visual aspects. From there, understanding theater and having that theater component allows you to create narratives. It allows you to create characters. It allows you to create concepts and these streams of information on how people make meaning from all of the visual and musical auditory inputs that you've put into the system, and kind of pulls it together with the narrative arc. And so from there, the psychology that I did in varsity allows you to understand people, that then kind of, it allows you to be far more intentional and impactful in the way you deliver what it is you create. And so from there, understanding systems, how to build a system for people to navigate in, and understanding that having too much choice or no choice doesn't really give any freedom, but kind of just understanding the boundaries of what you're trying to give, and allowing people to really just immerse themselves into that has been really incredible. And to be very honest with you, when I started in grade 10, or no, actually when I was 4 years old, just singing music, I did not think that this is where I would end up. I didn't think that, I'm cool, I'm going to use music to like make people feel stuff, or this pretty picture is going to create this world. It was just something I really enjoyed. It was something that I really wanted to work on and become better at. And everything I do now is kind of informed by all of those passions, those interests, those talents, and those skills.
Jeepers. That's an amazing journey, and it's very, very on par with what you're saying, because not only did you use those talents, even though they developed from a very early age, like you said, from age 4 with singing, but you've taken all of the things that you've basically learned, your skill set as well, the psychology, the behavioral, theatrical, all of that, and you've kind of woven this very niche kind of market for yourself. And now that you are developing these types of games, you kind of pulling on all of those resources to actually develop these games, which I think is phenomenal, Steph. It is really, really awesome. Okay, I see we got a couple of people on. If you are a part of the show, please just go ahead and comment below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. And if you want to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to by commenting down below in the comment section. And we will take the questions during our live session. All right, so Steph, let's talk a little bit about, because a lot of I feel that this is quite prevalent when I'm talking to a lot of youngsters, and that's my question too: is why is it important nowadays to use those talents and skills? Why is it important? Because I find that a lot of, that old style of thinking of just getting a 9 to 5 job and paying the bills and kind of going through mundane, it's old school. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that when you are using your talents and your skills, something different starts to happen in your life. So tell us, why is it important for us to use these skills and talents right now?
I think two things kind of stand out for me with regards to that question. One thing, the first thing, is that with technology that has developed and kind of evolved over the last 20 years, information has become so accessible, which means influence has become so much more relevant. And when you don't understand your skills or your talents or your interests, your identity starts to become fluid. It becomes this thing that is easily influenced, and you end up in places that actually just cause you so much stress and anxiety because you don't know where you're meant to be navigating. And so, firstly, working within your passion, your skills, your talents, your strengths is very empowering for you because it solidifies who you as a person and who you are, or what you have to offer. And so when you're positioning yourself into the market, you know that this is your strengths. This is where you prefer to work in. This is who you are, and people who want to require that service from you knows that and has that expectation of what they will get from you. If you're not working within your skill set or within your passions, you become a generalist. And even though as South Africans we love to be generalists, it actually becomes a really dangerous space. And then just furthermore, on the second point is when you're not working in those talents and those skills, you don't get a sense of fulfillment. You were specifically designed to work within your capabilities, your abilities, your experiences, and your personality. And so if you're not a people person and you're working with people, it's going to be a highly stressful job for you. It's going to cause you so much anxiety, so much worry, and actually you're not going to be as impactful in that situation as what you would like to be. And so I did a very interesting course a while ago, and they were actually saying that when you work in your strength, it's something that makes you stronger. But when you work in your weakness, even though you might be good at that, you are actually weaker off. And so you're left feeling drained, you're left feeling unfulfilled, dissatisfied, anxious, worried, and that doesn't sound appealing to me.
Yeah, especially nowadays, because people 9 times out of 10, what they do is they look for the value, and people want to add that into the world. And if you haven't sorted out your interests, your talents, and your skills, you will never find your purpose. And that's where I believe that, and it's an exciting world. That's where I believe this digital age is absolutely going, because it's tapping into all of those things and finding one's purpose it ignites so much fire inside of you that you want to actually get up in the morning and you want to do what you do from a day-to-day basis. So I absolutely agree with you, Steph, when it comes to that. And be debilitating if you are waking up and you're not really in it, and you're only in it for perhaps like the money, or your reason why shouldn't be around that at all. It should be passion based. So I love the answer that you gave there. Thank you. All right, if you are watching, I see we've got a couple of more people on. Please just pop down, let us know that you're here, where you're watching from. And also if you have any questions for Steph, we're really talking about how to use your skill set as well as your talents to the max. And Steph was actually just talking to us and sharing her journey on how she also used her talents as well as her skill set and combined them to become a virtual game developer. Now, I know that this industry, especially in South Africa, for some reason, it's a very small clique, and not many people are aware that you can even do this as a job. And funnily enough, I was talking to my nephew over the weekend, and he absolutely loves games. And as soon as he's finished his homework, he's behind the computer playing with other teammates, and they correspond on WhatsApp, and then they strategize and whatnot, and then they do these moves online, and it's very fascinating to see. And as he was doing that, I thought of you, Steph, and I thought these worlds are they feel so real, whether they, because I know that he does some car things as well as some shoot 'em up things as well. And when you're in them, they become different worlds altogether, like a second life that they have in there. So I think, me, that's so fascinating. And that's why I absolutely love talking to Steph. So we covered a little bit also about why it's so important to have your talents as well as your skill sets, and why you should be using them every day, and especially in what you wanting to do. And Steph was saying it is so important because one of those factors is that it can make or break you. And, just following that allows you to actually live your purpose and to give value into the world. Okay, so let's go on to question 3, because again, especially when I'm mentoring some of my entrepreneurs or youngsters, what I often will say to them it's so important not only to have your talents and your skills and identify them and quickly uncover them so that you can start to really niche yourself off. So let's talk around a little bit the benefits of using your talents and skills. What would you say, Steph, are the main benefits to using them?
So when you use your talents and your skills, the things that you were purposefully shaped to do, you reduce your stress levels overall. You live a far more fulfilled life. But I think beyond that, you grow as a person very, very rapidly. When you're using your talents and your skills, the things you enjoy doing, the things you're passionate about doing, you actually grow at a much faster pace. And I'm not saying that every single task that you're doing needs to be passion-filled and over-fulfilling. Life unfortunately doesn't give us tasks that are always just joyful and like purposeful. Sometimes the menial things is what contributes to the big things that allow you to gain fulfillment and allow you to be passionate. So like making sure that you pay the bills, that's never exciting, but that's part of the things. And so just because I'm not passionate about paying my bills doesn't mean I pay my bills. But you can then move from strength to strength instead of trying to build in your areas in your life that you're just not that great at. You will never reach the heights that you were meant to reach if you work on the things that's outside of your skill set, outside of your talent base. outside of your influence and outside of your experience. And so if you really want to become a thought leader, an influencer, someone who impacts your environment, your workspace, your people, the industry, really just working within that and understanding who you are and what you can give and what you have to offer really does just add so much benefit to all of those different areas of life.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So let's go a little bit deeper, because what I'd like to ask you is, especially when it comes to your game you've developed for the Fed group, how does that benefit this particular company, this organization?
So within a Fed group, we actually have different areas of engagement and gamification. So there's our system, which measures and tracks the activities of different people within the company, mostly just so that we can make informed decisions and drive behavior to meet the objectives and the kind of goals we set as a company. We take that and we visualize it into a game. And each department has its own little narrative and own story that allows you to attach consequence to the activities going on. And so as an example, our operations teams, they have to deal a lot with customers over the telephone, via email, and so to ensure that the customer care services are really efficient, we have a little telephone monster or an email monster that if you've dropped 5 or more or 10 or more kind of emails, you know, it pops up into the game, and then everyone needs to fight this beast to try and get the world healthy again. And so it's really significant because it attaches consequence to these menial tasks that you don't think actually carry a lot of weight. But really, when you think of it, if you're not satisfying your customers or your clients, it actually has a disastrous impact on the business. And so that's kind of the idea that we wanted to translate, is that everything that you do has an impact whether or not you feel it. And so this is just a way of making that consequence really tangible. And then we've got another motivate staff, where we get them just to break away a little bit from their everyday working environments, the everyday stresses. And we have like a little game campaign. So we recently finished our winter games season, where the entire company was divided into 10 different teams. They designed their flags, they made their team names, they participated as a team. Wow. And so every like once a month or every second month, we'd kind of get together on the Zoom, play a couple of games, get people just to break away from the really hectic stresses of COVID, of life, of business, of just trying to make everything work while you're a mommy and a co-worker and a wife and a cleaner and a caregiver and everything at the same time, and just kind of have some fun. So we've been taking some games and just really making them interactive so that people can have fun as well. That's kind of part of what games do.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I like the fact that you take those behavioral things, because especially when it comes to work and perhaps not answering a phone call or an email or whatever, and this monster comes up, not only does the whole team actually fight against it off their particular section in the game, but they're adding fun elements where they can actually get together and just relax and be human by playing games as well. I think it's very, very unique and very clever. I love the fact that you can also collect data from the games that you put together. Again, that's using talent and skill right there. And this also will help, if I'm assuming correctly, that this type of game will also help to see what people's strengths are. So let's say, for instance, I'm part of the team and one of my strengths is email. One of my things that I don't do well is answering phone calls. They can pick that up and support you very quickly. So I love the fact that you can actually bring that in and read the data, because again, it helps you to identify key holes or gaps within the team where you need to actually get training or upskill someone with regards to that. I think that's perfect. Fantastic. All right. If you have jumped on, I see that we've got 1 or 2 extra people. A warm welcome to you. You're watching the Purposeful Business Livestream with myself, Lucille Devine, and my guest today is Stefan Nickhack. Steph is very uniquely positioned in the gamification and visual games industry in South Africa. And she works with Fed Group and has formed a part of another arm, which is that virtual gaming side with regards to Fed Group. In particular, we're talking about how to use your talents and your skills to the max. And this often will help you to not only find your person, but to your purpose, I beg your pardon, but also help you to live a life filled with passion. All right, so if you do ask any questions, please go ahead and ask a question down below in the comments section. Or even if you just want to say hi, we would love to acknowledge you as well. I'm going to move on to the next question, Steph. And again, here, it's just really, how does one go and uncover your talents? I mean, if somebody is watching this video and they have no idea what their talent is, what their interests are, what their skills are, how would you go and uncover this? What would you suggest to them?
Well, Lucille, I can really speak about this for a very, very long time. I think there's so much juice that can go into that. I would firstly look at the things that you're drawn to, the things that you naturally want to speak about, the things that you naturally have an interest in, the things that you have like this excitement about. You know, you can't really explain it, but for some reason, some people really like just speaking about soccer. That's not an area that I can relate to them with. Sport in general, it has never made sense to me, but you know, that's me working and understanding that that's not something that I have an interest in. I am naturally pulled to like these like melodies. I just listen to the music in an elevator, and I'd start tapping, I'd start whistling. I'm naturally drawn to the beauty of art and just go, oh my goodness, how did this person do this? I want to know how to do this. And so I think understanding like kind of what you get excited about, what is it that like makes you go, ooh, this is really cool, is like the very, very first basic step to just kind of getting a little bit of a direction. Am I a sport person? Am I an arty person? Am I an intellectual? Am I an academic? Am I, you know, kind of where am I meant to be working? And I think from there, developing stuff, I think the next step is to try. To just, if you don't know, try to learn to play the piano, try to kick the ball, try to read a book, you know, in whatever that direction is, try. And if you fail, don't just give up. There's no skill in this world that comes naturally or that comes easy. It needs to be developed, which means there's a progress, and it's often slow. Half the time, the picture that's in your head that you're trying to draw, it's not going to look the same on your first try. And so keep at it. We live in a society that is so easily dismissive about things. well, if this just didn't work for me, so I'm just not going to try it. I'm done with this. And I think, you know, if you're going to try, you need to have a level of commitment. And so that doesn't have to be a lifetime. If you want to be a performer, if you want to be a game designer, if you want to be a soccer player, a doctor, you need to at least commit to 6 months of continuously putting effort into this thing. Because in all honesty, you won't know within the first 3 months if this was something that you are good at. You're going to have a skewed understanding of your capabilities in this. And I think to truly give it a shot, you need to try for 6 months. But not just try and then kind of sit and wait for 6 months. Really try every day. Invest 10 minutes to this particular thing. Give it your focus. Practice it. Implement it. And try and take it further each day. Track your progress. And then measure it. See where you started versus where you ended. Did this bring you enjoyment? And it's okay if there's frustrating moments in between. That's normal. You don't just get to a place fast when it's a straight line. You know, the bumps in the road is what gives you momentum. And so commit for 6 months. Do it diligently, and I think really try to put yourself into that, even if it's just 10 minutes.
Yeah, beautifully put. And, you know, as a mom myself, these are the things that I use, especially when my children were growing up, my girls. And they would say to me, "Mommy, I don't feel like going." And I'd say, "You know what? You've got to try this. Let's give it a try, and then we can establish if it's something that you are interested in, and we can reevaluate." So I love the practice that you are actually preaching. It's beautiful. All right, so I see that we have Millicent on the line. Thank you, Millicent. It's always so nice to have you watch the show. And I know you're watching with much interest. I know that you're pulling on some of the insights that Steph is sharing with us graciously today. So thanks for watching, and thanks for being online. If you do have any questions, remember, just pop the question down below in the comments section, and we will actually take your question now. All right. So, Steph, the other thing, as you were discussing that, was that there is this process, and committing by 6 months allows you to actually really draw that measurement by the end of it, because and applying the focus every day. I love the fact that you've also said, 10 minutes a day will give you that insight to see if you really are interested in. The other thing that I'd like to mention with that is what I found is if I'm doing that and I'm committed to it every 10 or 20 minutes a day, what often happens is something else starts to uncover. So it might be like a broad thing. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to watch a video on how to do LinkedIn paid ads. And as I'm watching it and I'm doing it religiously every single day, what seems to happen that another thing starts to develop. It might not be that I'm going to kind of hone in only on the paid ads things, but something else starts to develop within that kind of practice that you start to put into your life. And then from there, you can really just sit back and say, you know what, this is what I want to do, or this is not within something that I'm wanting to bring into my life. I love the fact that you are sharing that process, because it does matter. And that's how you discover your interests, and that's how you discover more in depth around your interests. Thank you for sharing that, because that's beautiful. Okay, I see that we do have another comment. Let's just pop on there. Okay, we've got Minnie. She's from Petersburg. Hi, Minnie. Welcome to you. Thanks for watching the show, and thanks for just saying hi to us as well. It's lovely to have you here. I hope that, this is insightful for you. And again, if you have any questions, just pop questions into the comment section below. We are talking about how to use your skill set to the max, how to use your talents and your interests to uncover your purpose in life. Okay, I'm going to go to the fifth question, because this again is so important. We did kind of touch on why it's important for you to uncover your talents and your interests as well as your skills. But if I am watching this now, Steph, can you give us any advice? Is there a course that we can take? Is there any place that we can go to that we can actually uncover our talents and our skills and our interests? Is there some help that is out there?
I think there definitely is. We have so many resources that is at our disposal at any point in time. I think first and foremost, to understand that learning something will always cost you something. That's just personal experience that I thought I would share here today. If you're going to choose to invest in yourself, choose to invest in your skills and develop your talent, that means it's going to be a lot of learning. And learning doesn't happen without a cost. And I'm not just talking about financial, I'm talking about blood, sweat, and tears. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about humility and character and perseverance. There's always a cost involved when you're learning something new. And so you have to see this as an investment. You have to see this as something that's going to take you further than what you are now. And so from my personal experience, doing little reflections on new things that you've learned. Yesterday, I did not know much about employee experience. And this is just maybe something relevant to my world. Actually, let me try and use a simpler example. Yesterday, I didn't know much about how to get the best reaction out of people when presenting my work to them. But in my meeting today, when I did my presentation, this person said this thing and everyone else reacted this way. Why was that? It sparked the conversation. It made everyone participate. What about that made them do this? And I think having that small reflection on teaching you how to navigate your workspace, develop your skill. And it can be as simple as, yesterday I didn't know how to hold a brush. Today I know how to hold a paintbrush because I put in the time to learn how to hold the paintbrush. Take the small victories, take the small wins, and go out there and go and investigate. There's definitely different platforms to learn things on. There's Udemy, which is a really great platform that is so accessible and really cost effective. The only real cost is your time, because it's 200 Rand for a course if you get it on a special. And that's
roundabout.
20 hours of insight, someone's professional insight, but it's going to be on you to determine how far you can take that insight. And so there's places like Udemy, there's platforms like Scribed, which is also like 100 Rand a month, and you have resources completely at your disposal. All of these books, these PDFs, these articles, these auditory audiobooks that give you insight about a whole bunch of different things. There's YouTube. YouTube, I promise you, helped me get my major in psychology. It was you get a textbook that is like this thick, and you're like, I'm not. I've been discovering throughout my life that I actually really struggle to read words. I read them as pictures, and so that makes me a picture smart person. And so I visualize very strongly. So knowing words is not my strong suit, is me understanding my skill set. But I learn so much better with audiobooks, listening to it, seeing visual inputs. And so that's another thing that just knowing about yourself will help you develop faster. Then get involved in communities. There's guaranteed almost always a community for the interest you have. There's soccer clubs, there's art clubs, there's art platforms, there's places you can go and look for great music and have discussions about it. There's always a community of people that you can learn from. And so using the people in and around you and making sure that you're part of a kind of group of people that share your interests, that you can be accountable to, will make a massive difference. So that's very much dependent on who you are, individual.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that you mentioned groups and communities, because I learn quite a bit when it comes to that. Whether I'm even hanging out online, like on LinkedIn groups, as well as Facebook, because they've got a lot of things to offer. And sometimes when you read through the actual lines, you pick up on a lot of information too. So I think that's one of the great ways to go and find things as well. And then again, I think thought leaders as well is a wonderful space, finding thought leaders within your niche, within what you are wanting to do, that often ignites something, and it's that fire inside of you, so that you can also start to uncover some of your talents and your interests as well as your skills. I love the fact also, Steph, that you shared that it is going to cost you something, whether it's your time, whether it's your effort, whether it's your concentration, but there is always a payoff because you're investing in yourself. And that's important to know, especially as business owners. Sometimes we renege on this because we've got business to worry about, but we need to always make those times to actually sit and consume. And in fact, most of the great leaders do this. They take time in the morning or the afternoon, and they either sit and read or absorb new information daily. So it's part of their daily routine. That's what sets them apart from anyone else, because they are coachable, they are trainable, and they're always wanting to learn. So I think that's an important part. So thanks for sharing that. Okay, so we don't have any other comments, and we've come to the end today. So I'm going to just remind everybody that is watching, if you are going to watch the replay, go ahead, hashtag replay down below. If you feel that this video today that you watched has any value, or you think somebody in your work or your colleagues or your friends or your family need to see this video, go ahead and tag their name down below, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Just tag the name below in the comment section, and they will be notified to come and watch this video. If you don't want to do it on the public forum, then please go ahead and just share. There's a share icon down below on the right-hand side. You can share it both on YouTube as well as Facebook. You can either send a direct message, or you can actually share it directly on your own wall for other people to see as well. I'd really appreciate that, because again, as I reiterated at the beginning, it's about supporting, to empower, uplift, as well as educate. And today's session was very insightful. So I'd like to thank you, Steph. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been so informative. I know there's a lot of things that, as you were talking, I was kind of taking notes of. And it's wonderful to find that, especially your generation and how you are approaching not only business, but your lifestyle and your mindset. I think that's phenomenal. I can only wish you strength from here on. So thank you for joining us today. And today I'm going to leave you with the last word. What advice would you give anyone who's wanting to pursue or uncover their talents, their interests, and skills?
So the thought I want to leave with you today is to remain teachable, remain a student. You have always something to learn. There's always something new to develop. There's always a question that you can ask that needs an answer that will take you from strength to strength. You're never too old to learn something new when it comes to technology, to life, to experience, to work, to people. And so remain someone who is humble in their teaching, and kind of stays within that sphere of studenthood, if I can put it like that. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here today again, Lucille. It was such a lovely experience. I love chatting to you. I love these things that also spark so much ideas in me, and I'm very inspired to continue on with this journey.
Fantastic. We'll see you next month again then, Steph. Thank you for your contribution today. And as Steph said, remain open to learning. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. We'll see you soon again. Have a wonderful weekend. Well, a long weekend for those of you who are taking it. And enjoy South Africa Bride Day tomorrow. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.